something happened that day. I was like, dude, I gotta get out of here. I can't do this for the next 60 years. Like, just be stuck here.
That's why when I hear core values, I almost kind of cringe. I'm like, it's like, I almost don't want them because I just want to be about it, right? Like, I don't want to talk about it. I want to be about it.
All I want to do is see other people happy. It's just about being together.
I felt respected. I felt like I was one of the guys, right? I was on the same level. I got to go with the big kids, for like lack of a better term.
Welcome back to 07 Podcast presented by Thru Detail. If you've been interested or want to give a gift to somebody, give us a call, check out our website. We have great people to help you out. Well, last episode, we tackled 2023. In this episode, we're going to dive in more into the business and tackle core values. That being said, here's our discussion. Hello, Austin.
Hello.
How you doing?
Not too bad, actually. How are you, sir?
I can be better.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Joking, I'm doing good. Well, core values. I know we had a meeting. We've been having multiple market meetings about the future for Detail lately, and what you brought was core values. But you say you hate them, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I feel like core values are overplayed, right? Like, every company is like, here's our core values, right? And they feel almost inauthentic. I don't think they have to be, and we'll get into it, and hopefully ours are not. But I think a lot of my hesitation comes from the previous company I worked at, which, if anybody's watching this, it's not really a surprise. You guys know. But like, there's like 12 core values, right? And like, first off, that's way too many. Like, we were talking earlier, like 2, 3, 4 max. I think 3 is like a great number. But like, when you have 12, first off, nobody remembers 12. So like, the people in your organization, and like, if somebody was like, what are your core values? Like, you're going to remember 12 things off the top of your head? Like, when's the last time, if somebody asked you to name like almost any 12 random things, like, do you think you could pull that out? Like, no. Like, even like sports, like, to name like 12 teams, like, you'll get there, but it's going to take a second, right? Like, so first off, way too many. Second off, like, I would almost say, to their credit and then also to their detriment, they talked so much about core values. They were like, this is who we are, this is what we're about, right? Which is cool, but it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to like have action, right? So when you would see like, okay, these are your core values, but then you see something the company does that doesn't align with that core values, it's like, okay, well, now it just feels like you're just saying these are our core values just to say those are core values, but you're not actually living it out. Right? Like, it's one thing to tell my wife I love her, but it's an entirely different thing to say, like, to take action on that, to listen to her, to bring her flowers, to go out on dates. Like, the action matters more than the words, right? And so that's why when I hear core values, I almost kind of cringe. I'm like, that's like, I almost don't want them because I just want to be about it, right? Like, I don't want to talk about it. I want to be about it. But yeah, we've been growing and evolving a lot recently, trying to listen to other people that are way smarter than I am, like Hormozy and Simon Sinek. So yeah, I've stolen a lot from Hormozy of LTGP and CAC and gross product margins, and we don't have products, gross margins. And like reworking a lot of our services and pricing structure, looking at roles. So like from a business side, but also kind of realizing like, okay, we need a core like foundation, like culture, atmosphere. Like, you need that too, especially as we're going to continue to hopefully scale. Like, we need to have a good core foundation. And so that's kind of what led us to our discussion of, okay, well, what are our core values? How do we figure that out? Like, where do we go from here, you know?
Yeah. So do you take all advice from Hermosi and Cynic? 'Cause you hated core values. So what shifted you to actually take their advice and run with it?
That's actually a really good question. Look at you. I'm sorry, that was a slight. I take that back. I take that back. Um, what shift? I think just seeing enough people that are ahead of me and realizing the common threads that they have, right? Like, you can go on, and I'm sure it's like this in other industries, but particularly the detail industry, these Facebook groups, these guys talk about like, oh, look at me, look what I'm doing, and there's guys selling courses that are way below us, and I'm like, I don't feel fit to sell courses, but I'm definitely ahead of that guy, and like that guy's selling courses, so I hate that. So not looking at that, but looking at guys that are way ahead, like probably well beyond where we ever want to be, but also some guys where, I think it's reasonable to where we could be. But looking at those guys and like, okay, what are the common themes that they say, and then just seeing what other like really successful people, and so you start to see like, oh, you'll hear it from this person, you'll hear it from this person, you'll hear it from this person, and it's like, okay, well, I guess they probably know something that I don't know, so like, yeah, I think maybe I should listen to them because clearly they're way ahead of where I am. So yeah, I think it's just hopefully trying to be humble and just trying to acknowledge like they probably know more, so I'm gonna do what they say.
Yeah, and I know these guys are big, massive, popular people, right?
Mm.
And earlier you say you don't agree with companies having core values, especially like 12 and more corporate. You think it's more important that local businesses like us, like small businesses like us, core values are more important than the average corporate. It's like you take their advice. They do like massive companies, but here we're kind of smaller. Like not in a bad way, but
I think on some level, I think all businesses, I think where I've kind of landed is like you should have core values, right? Now, I think as you scale, like that gets really hard because the more and more people you introduce, like what's something we can all rally around or what's something we all agree on, right? So if you have a group of 5 people, like it might be difficult, but there's stuff that we can all kind of agree on of, yes, this is what we believe, right? Now, if you scale that to 5,000, like get 5,000 people to agree on anything, right? Like that's hard. Now, I think both are necessary because you need to have driving factors. But at least at a local level, I think it's probably easier, but I think both are necessary. But that's one of the advantages for us is we're small and we can kind of do whatever we want at this point. But you want to build the foundation right. And so that's why, especially hopefully when we move into the new shop, coming in June, ? We want to have a really strong foundation, and we want to know not only what we do, but who we are, right? So that's where we're at.
So it kind of helps build a community as well.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Again, it's getting everybody to buy in on the same page of, like, at the end of the day, like, we're washing cars, right? But why do we get up every day and come here? Why don't people leave, right? Like, what is it about us and the company, or is the company not about something and it should be about something, like, hey, this doesn't align with my core values and my beliefs, but we want it to be this direction, but we're actually this direction. So then it helps like correct stuff. But yeah, it's all about culture and atmosphere and just figuring out like what are we even doing,
Okay, well, it also sounds like employees have a big part to play in that. So core values not just for customers, it's also for employees, right? So, how do you determine core values, and does that affect hiring?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't ever want to be a dictator of like, these are our core values. Like, no, I think that's bad leadership. So yeah, it is hopefully determined, hopefully a collective agreement of, hey, these are our core values. And like, and we'll see that like we have not different core values, but different like guiding principles. Maybe like my guiding principle is different than yours. Not that we disagree with each other's, but like I think our driving factor is different, and that's okay. But that's what makes up the multiple like core values, right? And then once you figure out as a collective, as a culture, as a company, like, hey, these are the things that we agree on. And again, you don't want to get too broad, so hopefully you can kind of compress different people's core values and kind of put them under other headings. But if you can do that, then yeah, it affects everything. Of okay, how do we handle this situation? Okay, well, what aligns with our core values? Okay, how do we hire this person? Well, do they have the same beliefs that we have? And if they don't, it doesn't matter what other skills or whatever else they have. If they don't fit, there's going to be friction, and it's often tough because it's like, why is there friction? Like, friction is easy to see, and it's easy to feel. It's harder to determine the root of the problem, right? But my theory, and I'm just stealing from other people who are way smarter than me, is that it's because at a fundamental level we're different. We're operating on different assumptions, and that makes it really hard to go far. So yeah.
Well, that also affects the employees that are already there, right? Because you say friction. So how do you build core values with people already here? And when you do build them, they don't align. Do you just like, okay, bye, see you later, or you try to get them on the right path? Because I know you don't want to let anybody go, but like these are core values.
Yeah, actually, go ahead and put in your 2 weeks right now. Yeah, I think it goes back to like, again, the goal is not for me to be a dictator and these are our core values. It's to hopefully discern and figure out what are the employees' core values and how does that align with overall company goals, right? And so I don't want to, in some ways you kind of do enforce core values, but you don't necessarily pick the core values, right? The core values are who you are as a person. That's why they're called core. They are central to you. You're not going to change necessarily somebody's core values, but I think it is helpful to figure out what is somebody's driving factor, and then how do we use that, and how does that person use their gifts to align with their goals, but also with the company goals. And then hopefully we're all aligned, we're all on the same page, we know what we're working towards, we know why we're working towards it, and then we can really push, and hopefully then you break through and you really make good growth.
So what are our core values?
It's a great question.
We're still trying to figure that out, right?
Yes, I think I know mine, and I think we walked through yours.
So we're getting there.
Yeah, so again, I'm just stealing from other people. I don't have an original thought, ever.
Whoever does, the better.
Right? Like, yeah, feels like all original thoughts are gone. But, except maybe Elon Musk. I feel like Elon Musk might have original thoughts. But yeah, so I was researching this and just went through, I think I read every article of like how to find your core values and like all these different questions. And a lot of them were just like why do you wake up in the morning? What gets you excited? Which again goes back to my like cringiness of like, God, that feels so corny.
Yeah.
Like, shut up.
Yeah.
So I kind of went through those. I didn't feel like they were super helpful, because like why do you get up in the morning? I'm like, money.
Yeah.
Like, duh.
Yeah, money.
But I think if you think about it, like, okay, I think one really helpful exercise is whatever your answer is, amplify that by like 1,000, right? And so if the answer is money, okay, blow it way out of proportion, but you lose everything else, right? So you have infinite money, but you don't have anything else. You don't have any family, you don't have any friends, nothing else, right? Would you take that trade? No. Hopefully not.
Yeah, no.
Unless you're like a supervillain or something. Like nobody's going to take that trade. So it's like, okay, well, if it's not, I think money's a part of the equation, but it's not the final answer. So like, how do we find the final answer? So the most helpful exercise I found, again, I stole from Simon Sinek. I still don't know how to say his last name.
Sinek?
Yeah, you're so much better than me.
I don't know if I pronounce it right though. But
Simon Sinek.
I have disabilities, so
Yeah.
I will
Well,
pass.
Simon, if you'd like to come on this very illustrious podcast, you're welcome. And you can tell us how to pronounce your last name. But he has basically two main questions that I saw him walk through, actually on another podcast. And I thought they were super helpful, and I've done this exercise a couple times, and it's been really interesting to see. So, do you want to walk through the questions?
Yeah, I was just about to ask, how do we find our core values? And like you said, just the questions.
Yeah.
So, but I already did mine. So we're gonna have a special guest, first time on the podcast. He's the man behind the cameras. He's the reason why this podcast is so successful. He's a detail technician. His name is Ballo. Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name, but his name is Ballo. Welcome to the podcast. We're gonna switch.
All right. This is Ballo, everybody.
Hi,
Welcome.
I'm Ballo. I'm a technician here at Fourth Auto Detail. Austin, thank you for having me.
Of course. We'll see how this goes. Please don't get us canceled. All right. Yeah, you have no idea what these questions are. So we'll see how this goes. They are a little bit of personal questions, so hopefully that's not too awkward, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. So, okay, question one, if I'm remembering the phrasing right. Basically, it is, tell me about a time, and it needs to be, make it a specific memory, but a time of something that you accomplished or something that you were a part of, that if, hey, every day was like this, that'd be amazing. Be super happy. But something in your past, something that you were a part of or something that you accomplished, that again, if every day was like that, you'd be super happy. So take your time, think it out, play along at home. Also, if you are doing this at home, try to do it with, you want to do it with like a friend. Simon recommends you don't do it with like a spouse or like your best friend because they're almost too close to the situation. But somebody that knows you that can kind of help tie the threads together. So again, we'll see how this goes. But what are you thinking?
Ooh, that's tough. That was a tough one.
It is a very difficult exercise, FYI.
Because then you start thinking of one thing, you're like, but damn. Like that. The second part was like, if every day was like this, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's not much of an accomplishment. I mean, it's more
It's
of
fine.
a ticket. Going back home.
Going back home.
At a certain age. Like 18-year-old me going back home.
Okay, so can you paint a picture for me? Like, do you have a specific memory, like a specific trip?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
It was I'll kind of just walk you through the day.
Okay. Perfect.
I mean, a day over there is like, I'd say about 3 days worth of stuff to do, like here.
Okay.
So, wake up early, which I've stopped happening, but
Also, for the record, where's home?
Kosovo.
There we go. Okay.
Controversial, but we can box about it later. Wake up in the morning. Cars, they have cars over there, but it's a very walking-friendly country.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the Balkans, Serbia, Croatia, everywhere. Walking-friendly. Woke up, put on, some clothes to stay at home. Went home, talked to a lot of family members. Everyone's back home. Then I was like, hey, let me call my other cousin. You want to go to the gym? Yeah, let's go to the gym. We met up and walked to the gym.
Okay.
Don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Got in the gym, got a good workout in. Probably the only guys there doing legs. They're not used to seeing that.
Can't skip leg day.
Oh, dude, tell them that. Don't tell me. Finished the gym, walked around the corner, had a fresh European meal. Solid. It was a grilled white chicken with mushroom sauce and a side of salad and some nice French fries.
That sounds amazing.
It was bomb. That was about €6 for both of us, the equivalent of $7 and probably 50 cents now.
Jeez.
We went, literally right next to it was a gaming place. So, €400 on a PlayStation at the time is kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So you just pay €1, $1.20, and you play a whole hour on their
That's legit.
illegal games. Downloaded illegally.
Allegedly?
Allegedly.
Yeah.
And it's not even 12 o'clock yet.
Okay.
Left. We went home for a little bit. Saw some other family members came over. And then left again. We met up with another cousin. He lived really close to where our place was to go. Went and got food, chips, hung out, had a blast. We went to the pool. They have a lot of pools over there. Didn't get sunburned, which is crazy. I get sunburned really easy. So that's why this was probably a successful day.
Yeah.
After that, I think 6 o'clock hits. Then we start getting ready to go to the club. I mean, in the club over there, it's like that, but it's, for some reason, you feel a lot safer.
Okay.
Because, nobody there is, over there they have
Nobody's
a
trying
thing
to
called,
root for you.
they have faces, they say. They have faces, they cannot ruin their image, because, like I said, everybody's walking. So, you see that one guy, and you're like,
Yeah.
if you have beef with them, he's like, oh, shoot, well, won't happen again then.
Yeah.
But, yeah, went to the club, had a table, hit on a 39-year-old.
Nice.
She was fine.
Very nice.
That didn't work out too long, obviously, but, yeah, we went home, had a blast, stayed up till 2. That was a day. And I always think about that day because wouldn't it be nice to have that day every day?
Yeah.
But, not be kind of a low life about it. So, work yourself to achieve that, make every day that type of day. Or have the ability to become that type of day.
Yeah.
That's kind of what got me going again.
Okay. And all that was, so you met your cousin early that day, right? Was all that day with your cousin?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
He can account for it. He's, I'm gonna make him watch this.
Okay. So, how old are you?
24.
Okay. So you got 24 years. I mean, I guess probably not all 24 years. You probably don't have memories when you're 2. But out of all the years, out of all the memories, you picked that specific memory. Why pick that one?
The climax into real adulthood. When...
What do you mean by that?
Up until high school, so my parents never let me have a job. They didn't let me drive.
Okay.
Very, very strict on that. So, once I got all that, to drive and have a job, started realizing what reality is. For some people too, especially, people go home, work, and shortly after that, I got into a dead-end job. I'm not going to say where. Well, they're going out of business. But I don't know if they're going into full out of business yet, so I'm just going to refrain. But, yeah, then I started realizing, I would have said this moment in my life was kind of the achievement where like I just changed my mindset. I was like, I can't do this.
Mm.
But I felt like the Europe trip played in my head that same moment when that happened. So that's got to be the bigger achievement. But something happened that day. I was like, dude, I gotta get out of here. I can't do this for the next 60 years. Like, just be stuck here.
Why did that trigger? Why do you have that response? So that day said, I can't stay here. Why did it trigger that response?
That's a good question. To be fair, I mean this in the nicest way. A lot of the people around me, other than a couple good friends, man, I mean, it seemed like everybody came from like, some bad places, and I'm like, I didn't come from a bad place. What am I doing here?
Mm.
And like that's harsh to say when it's like 2 or 3, but this was like out of a group of like 32, probably like me and 4 others never been in jail.
Okay.
So like the more I started hearing them, like seeing them do things, get caught doing things, I was like, yeah, like.
So you're like, I gotta get out.
You just had to be there. It was one of those moments, because we drove cars all day. There was a good 2 hours where the car was just silent for me.
Yeah.
It's never been quieter. So
Okay.
I had to get out of that.
Okay. Great answer. All right, so that's question 1. Now, question number 2, again for those playing at home. Can you tell me a specific happy childhood memory? So, again, needs to be specific. Can't just be like, oh, on Tuesdays we had pasta night. Like, no, like just like you did, like as specific as you can remember. What's a happy childhood memory that you have? If you can think of one. Damn, hopefully you can think of one, right? If you can't think of one, then that just means your childhood sucks. But I feel like even people with terrible childhoods at least have a happy moment.
Gotta have something. Whether it's drinking the hose water or becoming, unstoppable. Or for me, I'd say it was also involves the cousin.
Okay.
His dad, our eldest cousin's dad, took all of us, like us kids, out, like wherever we wanted to go. He was always the one dad that was cool with the PlayStations and everything. And by no means was he like, older guy trying to be young. He just wanted to make us happy. And man, that guy took us places where like if it wasn't for him, we probably have a mid childhood, to say the least. But I remember one specifically. My cousins always lived really close to each other. Mm-hmm. They lived in one house apart for the longest. But when I was in Arlington, he came and picked us up, and there was a place we called the Frog Place. And they had it was like a water park, but the mascot was a frog. We just called it the Frog Place.
Okay.
And man, I remember that day so vividly because we all went to sleep over. So when we knew like we were going to go spend the night, it was like the most stress-free environment as a child you could ever have, especially with no school the next day.
Yeah.
So we went to water park, had a blast, and we were there for like 3-4 hours almost, I think. It was kind of crazy. We left and we got, I think it was McDonald's, because we all like McDonald's.
Yeah.
Happy Meals were actually happy at the time. We got off, and I think this is when Modern Warfare 2 just came out for the PlayStation and Xbox. So yeah, I mean, that's all you need to know from this. Like, the rest of the day and night was just on that.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, and I never really played much. So this was before I had a PlayStation 3.
Okay.
So I'm just watching my two cousins just go at it. I mean, they're crashing out on each other from that game. That game got competitive, and I'm just watching, but I'm like, man, that was really relaxing for me. That was like a kick your feet back up moment and just enjoy like what just happened around me. You got the McDonald's, we got Takis. This one, Takis, I feel like Takis came out of nowhere too. But like, I remember it because like, my cousin had a white controller at the time and it always ended up turning red from the tacky finger dust. He knows which one I'm talking about. But there was that, and I've always had like strange dreams. You know when you have like those lucid dreams that they feel real?
Yeah.
It was always one point in that dream where like I'm walking around and it's a good dream. It's not a bad dream.
Yeah.
So there's always one point I'm walking around, I'm just seeing my cousin doing his thing, playing his games while I'm just sitting there like watching. And I'm like, damn. That felt good to me. It sounds weird, but to me that was how I always saw it was going to be. Watching them two duke it out with whatever they're duking out, and then just me like sitting back, almost refereeing and, backseat gaming. So, solid childhood memory.
Okay, so then same follow-up question. Out of all the childhood memories that you could have picked, why that one?
Because it was a good day. In other words,
today was a good day.
That's exactly what came to my mind. I like memories, but I hate like it's like that thing about vacations. Like when you go, you're lit, but when you're coming back, it's like, damn.
Okay.
That's how I see it with like, our memories, like our HOUR memories. Mm-hmm. So like if I go to a place but I know I have to come back home immediately, that's like, damn.
Okay.
So if it's a whole day of just a time you were like going crazy, yeah, that's when you go to sleep, you worry about it in the morning.
Okay.
Not that day.
Okay. So now comes the fun part of you take story A and story B and you draw a thread and you figure out what story A and story B have in common. SJ, do you know what story A and story B have in common?
Unity?
He's very close to your core value. Yeah, and so we can talk more about this, but SJ's core value is unity. I would say, and I'm totally guessing, so like, again, if I'm off, please tell me that I'm off, because this is a little dangerous, because you're taking somebody's very personal stories and you're like, this is what I think you're about. But here's what I heard, or here's the word that came to mind for when you were telling those stories. The word that came to mind for me is compassion, which is very similar to unity. But for you, both stories have a common thread of, yes, togetherness, unity, but there was also both a thread of like stress-free, carefree, love, but they also both involved other people and family. And especially if you look at the childhood memory, from what you said, it wasn't that you were playing Modern Warfare, right? Like, you weren't the one with a high KD, you weren't the one with a high score, you weren't the one crushing it. You were actually taking the back seat. But seeing them, being together with them, and seeing them have fun seemed like it really resonated with you. And to me, that's compassion. Am I on the right track or am I off?
That is good. That's actually exactly how it was.
Okay. So then, if that is true, again, this is the super awkward part of like you're trying to judge somebody, so don't like, this is what you are.
I'm the most offensive person here there is. There's no offending me at this point.
But if that's true, so then what you do is we can take that and we say, okay, our driving factor is compassion, right? So when we're dealing with a client, how does that affect our actions? We have compassion, right? Of, hey, they seem like they're having an off day, whatever. Okay, cool. We have compassion. We relate to them. We say, hey, we're going to make your day better. We're going to make your car look incredible, because our driving factor is compassion. We go to hiring. Hey, this person has all this incredible resume, but they seem harsh. They seem abrasive. They don't seem very kind or caring. That person's probably not going to fit, because they don't, at their core, it's not compassion, right? So not saying that, but I'm just saying you take that core value and then you apply it to the day-to-day operations and you try to figure out how does this influence our day-to-day and what does that look like? And those are the questions.
I've never believed in like stuff like that. Like,
Right?
but that is crazy, dude. The one with the Modern Warfare, hey, that was me. That was literally like the yeah, dude. I thought the connection was gonna be like, oh, you just love your cousins. I'm like, yeah, I grew up with them. They were brother and sister to me, but damn. Hey, good work, bro. That's why. That's that degree speaking right there.
I'm really glad that works, because if it didn't, that was going to be really awkward.
No, yeah, that works. Keep using it. It's hard to read me, but that worked.
Yeah. So, time out. Do you want to go through our stories, or like where do you want to go from here?
We can do that if you want.
Okay.
And then we can finish it off. Just like, why can that kind of make sense, and this is why core values are so important.
Okay. Cool.
Swing. That was awesome, Bob.
Dude, that was crazy, bro.
You gotta fix your camera, Austin. Your Austin camera. Austin, your camera looks like a 2003 iPhone.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's like the focus is off. It was taking like 2 seconds.
So what you're saying is I should be a coach?
Maybe.
Bro, this is my 2 weeks right here. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, yeah.
I think that looks better.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That's crazy. Whoa. That's good.
Alright.
If it messes up again, fine. Well, start on US change just so that I can do this. Ready?
Do you want to walk back and forth on the same question, or like you go and then me go?
What do you think is best?
I don't know.
Just flowing wise. I mean, we can each take turns, but like, you can make it to a discussion.
Yeah, since we've already kind of walked through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's fine. We can play tag.
All right. Tag it up.
All right.
That was crazy.
I'm really glad that worked.
Yeah. I didn't know that about Ball, though, so I learned a little bit more about Ball, which makes sense because he's the best with customers, I think. Not even just talk about the car, but just getting them to laugh and make their day a little bit better. I feel like that's why me, Ball get along. I'm Unity. He's compassion.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing, but
for sure.
Our core values. So we're up to 3 right now because we did it. We just did Ball though.
Yep.
Yours was respect.
Yes.
Everybody knows mine is unity because I said it multiple times, but yours is respect.
Yeah.
So I don't think I asked you this question the other day.
Oh, that's true. I guess I didn't walk through. I just said it was respect.
Yeah. I don't remember the question off the top of my head, but I can kind of make a summary of it. What was your first answer to your question?
Yeah. So the first question is think about or tell me a specific memory that you have of something that you achieved or something that you were a part of, something that you did. That if every day were like that, you'd be incredibly happy, right? So, again, it's hard to, because it's got to be specific. So it's like, what do I want to hit? And so, yeah, you start thinking, and it's like, first I kind of went to the business, but I'm like, no, it's not the business. And then I went to like maybe seminary, like when I graduated, when I got my 3 masters, and I was like, no, it's not that. So the thing that I actually settled on was finishing the marathon. And yeah, surprising, right? Not that every day I would run a marathon. I'm not David Goggins, screw that. But how I looked at it was, honestly, seminary was easy. College was easy. Building a business is super hard, but I'm not happy with it. I'm not where I want to be. So running a marathon is one of those things that like one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It is not easy. But I did it, finished it, crushed it. Yeah, so that's my answer to the first one.
Did your toenails fall off?
They did. I'm still missing 2 toenails.
Still?
I mean, they grew back, but like they're not right. You don't want to see them. They're not good.
Take the boots off right now.
No.
Joke.
Subscribe to OnlyFans.
So, whoa! I cut that out. Well,
I'm just saying, if we're gonna sell feet pictures,
well, it's not OnlyFans worthy. I guess you can post anything on Warren.
I'm pretty sure
You can post anything.
It is.
Well, I don't know what's on OnlyFans.
I don't know either.
Yeah. Anyways, where are we going with this?
So, why did you pick that one? Oh, I guess you already explained it. Well, the second question is the childhood one, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory from childhood?
Yeah, childhood. So again, I thought. So my parents are divorced, and my biological dad ended up leaving. Well, they got divorced when I was young, but he ended up splitting out of the picture when I was closer to about 10, when my mom got remarried. So I thought I have a lot of great memories with him, and that was a big part of my life. And so I kind of figured like, oh, it would be that, but that wasn't it, right? The memory I chose is when I was early teenage years. It was me, my dad, my uncle, and my cousin. We used to go to this hunting property, and we would spend a weekend, and we would hunt in the morning, shoot guns in the afternoon, fish, take a nap, watch movies, eat steaks, go out and hunt again at night, right? And it wasn't even that like I was this incredible hunter. Like, I don't even think honestly I killed anything on those trips. So I was like, why is that my memory? And again, I'm self-analyzing here, so maybe I need somebody else to do this for me, but my connection was respect, right? So when I was on the hunting trips, I felt respected. I felt like I was one of the guys, right? I was on the same level. I got to go with the big kids, for like lack of a better term. I got to shoot the big kid guns, right? Yeah. And like they trusted me with that. But there was an element of like, I'm in the group, I'm a part of this, I'm respected. And it's the same feeling I had when I finished the marathon of I did it, and it's a self-respect, but it's also like the respect of others. So it's not, because at first I was like, oh, it's accomplishment. I'm like, no, it's not accomplishment. It might be a factor of accomplishment, but for me, it's respect is my driving force. I think I would take that over anything. And so trying to look at that factor of how does that influence our day-to-day lives. So.
Wow. I feel like I'm learning a lot about both of you right now. That's just crazy. Wow, that's pretty cool to hear.
Welcome to the Dr. Phil Show.
Who?
You don't know who Dr. Phil is?
No.
Golly.
I probably do understand.
Yeah, you probably would.
Yeah.
You probably would. So yeah, we have unity.
Yes.
Respect.
Yeah.
Compassion.
It's pretty sick.
But see, like, if you were to... Okay, so let's go back. Because, like I said, I feel like most people's answer is money. Yeah. Right? But, like, max out money, lose everything else. That doesn't work. Max out unity, respect, compassion. That's pretty good.
That's pretty solid.
That's pretty good.
I like it. I think it's dope.
Yeah.
We're like the Chick-fil-A of detail.
True. I don't feel like Alberto would like that, but...
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to walk through yours, or you just want to stick with unity?
We can.
Okay. All right. So tell us about your time of something that you were a part of, something that you did, that if every day was like that, you'd be super happy.
Yeah. All right. So.
And tell us why you picked that memory.
Yeah. Just for some context, I battled some mental health things for a while, like probably as long as I know, like since 3rd grade. This is junior year. Also, y'all don't know. I became a high school dropout. Yeah, whatever. I'm a high school dropout. But don't matter. Alright. But that's just some context. This junior year, like nothing woke me up to go to school. Like I couldn't go to school. I literally just rot in my bed. But I had these 2 what I consider brothers at the time. So if I did go to school, it was just to see them. I wouldn't go to school, but that weekend, or like, if I did go to school, right afterwards, we'll go straight to Alley Cats. And we did everything there. Well, I mean, I worked. That's why I got the money.
What's Alley Cats?
It's like bowling, go-karts, mini golf, arcade.
Okay.
And we hit all those things. And I was the only one with the job, so I was like paying all this money, but like, I love to do it because I was with like people like Sarah Bros at the time.
Balling.
And so like yeah, for one like I chose that because I was with people and like seeing them happy kind of made me happy. Which they were all going through something. I had one of them mother just passed away, and another one had some family issues. So it was just we were all struggling with something. We never talked about it,
Yeah.
but we all knew we're going through something. So it was just us being together. It was different. It was this unspoken thing where it was just like at least we're going through it together.
Yeah.
So like that's why I picked that. It was like if I can do that every single day, just I have so much responsibility to do that I didn't do, but kind of my ball is go careless-free and just hang out with your brothers for a little bit every single night. And then after that, we would go hit Waffle House like until like 2 a.m. And if you know Waffle House, it's like food and a show. And like it's Waffle House is an amazing place to go, especially at nighttime.
At 2 a.m.?
At 2 a.m. After that, well, we only went, it's not an amazing thing, because we only went, it was just this one guy there. He was off something. I don't know what he was on, but he put love into every single one of those waffles that he made. And if he wasn't there, we would legit leave and go to IHOP.
And meth.
Dude, I don't know what it was. I probably did some drugs without knowing. Like, he put them in his waffles. They were amazing. But if he wasn't there, we would leave and go to IHOP. And IHOP had a server. And yeah, she was amazing. She was pretty cool. But yeah. That's why I picked that one.
Okay.
Then the childhood one.
The childhood one and why?
Okay, so I have a brother, half brother. I've seen him probably a handful of times, probably 5 times in my life. Because whole family situation, he's my half brother. He lives with his real mom. So he came over for a summer, and from the summer we had a Wii, and the game was Super Mario Brothers. So we started. It was me, him, and my sister. But like I always wanted to be like my big brother because he's my big brother. We're not very solemn, but you can tell we're brothers when we're around each other. It was just we just had that bond. So kind of like you want I guess to respect to like I can play with the big dog. So it was kind of like that's my brother. It was a couple of days before he had to leave, and we're on the final. We went through all 8 worlds in Super Mario Brothers. We had to fight Bowser, and we could not beat Bowser whatsoever. No matter what we did, we couldn't beat him. And it was a couple days before he had to leave, so we were just like, this is probably not going to happen. But, I mean, we woke up, hop on the game, we'd go take a snack break, and then, like, went to sleep. Like, it was literally like a 24-hour shift. It was awesome. But, yeah, it was more just about being with him. And, like, because, I barely seen him, so all I wanted to do was just be around him. And so, and we won by luck, because I remember I jumped on this certain block that made me, like, skyrocket. And I was like, oh no, we lost. But then, like, I'm looking at it, and I was like, yo, I'm about to land, because to beat Bowser, you have to land on this button, and something will drop on his head. I landed on the button, and we're like, oh, what just happened? And we see Bowser die, and I just remember we was all just jumping for joy. It was literally like we won the Super Bowl. Like that was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life. Cause like I did that, and I saw like my brother happy. Also my older sister. I saw her happy. Even though she contributed nothing, she's really bad at the
Yeah.
game. She's probably held us back so many times.
Facts.
She was so bad. We should have gave her a controller that wasn't on. But, yeah. So just seeing them happy was just like, you know, I did it.
Yeah.
And it was just literally about us being together. Because once he left, I was a wreck. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
So you told me that's unity because, like, all I wanted to do was see other people happy. It's just about being together. So.
Well, again, it's can be whatever.
I don't know a word for that. I don't know a word for that at all. But
the word that came to mind when you were telling me those stories, the first time and now again was unity. So how I got to that conclusion was, again, in the first story, it was all like you were with your boys, right, and you were all going through stuff, but you were together. You were united on this front. And then the Bowser story, again, there's an element of accomplishment, but I remember the first time when I asked you why did you pick that memory, it wasn't about like, oh, it was so hard, but then we broke through, like, I did it, right? Like, you were like, this is just pure luck. So it wasn't about that. It was about being together, and especially because you didn't always have that, right? Like you said, you only saw him a handful of times, but it was that unity of being together in that moment is at least why you said that was so special. So that's the word that kind of stuck out to me. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It was good stories.
yeah, it feels like a group therapy session. We
does.
all got to learn a little bit about each other.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple more people to do about core values. You know, we got Alberto, Valeri, Zach. Oh, now Chris.
Yeah.
We got a new hire, Chris. Cool dude.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it's kind of cool. The viewers get to see our core values like building.
Yeah. Like, we're trying to figure it out.
So, I know you said in the past, like, you don't want 12. Are you going to do every single one and just put it together, which is the best fits, or?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so, like, I think we can already see, like, yours and Balo's are very close, right? Like, unity and compassion. So, like, is there something that could encompass that together? Or, like, again, depending on what the other guys, how this exercise works, like, could one of theirs go under y'all's? Like, but yeah, you definitely don't want to get it too unmanageable and unwieldy, and then, because again, it should be easy. You shouldn't have to think about it. That's why, yeah, you don't want 12.
Yeah. No.
So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I think it is helpful in thinking about, like, what does day-to-day operations look like? How are we going to treat customers? How are we going to work? How are we going to hire? I feel like I can already see guiding principles to help make those decisions.
Well, this is one of my favorite discussions. This is pretty cool.
Oh, pretty good.
Hopefully everybody else enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's all the time we have today.
Yeah. If you went through the exercise, though, comment down below. Let us know what you have.
Yeah.
Like to know other people's core values.
Yeah. Wow. That was great.
I guess that's it, right?
Thank you for being here discussing.
All right. Till next time.
Well, first, we have a lot of exciting news for y'all. For one, we started a newsletter last month, so you should be getting a newsletter pretty soon. Keep low for our socials. More announcements on that. They'll be coming out. Like, we did one the other day about our slogan, right? We're still trying to figure that out. But yeah, we got a lot of big things coming, so stay tuned. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.